After relocating, I found my chat pinned with a new group conversation. The group is whimsically named the Celestial Society of Culinary Indulgence and Life's Pleasures. It appears that the members engage in a constant role-playing game, brimming with vitality. I regarded it merely as a manifestation of overwork and a means to vent. However, while commuting to work, I encountered a traffic obstruction, threatening to delay my arrival and jeopardizing my attendance bonus. In the group, I lamented which celestial being would be so kind as to let the company implode. This wretched shift, whoever desires to attend may do so. Before long, a fellow named Winrun, a nurturing father and thunder deity, mentioned me, saying company location, aligned with your expertise, an opportunity for extra income. I assumed we were merely jesting. He subsequently sent another message. This offer is valid for today only. Just 10 tokens of incense required. Do not let it slip away. As I stared at the immobile flow of traffic ahead, I replied, Nebula Street, Nebula Tower. Continuing to idly peruse my phone, a news alert suddenly appeared. Nebula Tower has been struck by lightning. Fortunately, there were no casualties. I was taken aback. 1. As I embarked on my daily commute, gazing at the interminable stream of vehicles ahead, I let out a sigh and retrieved my mobile phone. The pinned group chat was once again filled with humorous lamentations. The most beautiful flower deity remarked, the weather has indeed been rather arid of late. My skin has begun to flake, and my spirits are far from glorious, which hampers the blooming of my lovely blossoms. Those mere mortals incessantly shout about visiting the sea of flowers, trampling my delicate blooms every time, breaking them painfully in half. The tirelessly laboring god of wealth lamented, who understands the plight of a deity. Mortals beseech me daily for immense riches, yet even I, the illustrious god of wealth, must toil under the meager incense offerings, working tirelessly. The goddess of fertility, bestowing offspring, enough with the grievances, it is all tears. Mortals implore me for children, yet their physical conditions are woefully inadequate. To grant them a child would risk their very lives. I'm merely saving them. To fulfill my duties, I can only bestow children upon those in robust health, each time with precision. The weary-eyed Mingpa, the goddess of forgetfulness, interjected, Oh please, I beseech you to exercise restraint. You can't simply hand out favors indiscriminately to meet your KPIs. Those minors who conceive are forsaken. And the little ones lining up here are truly pitiful. The not-so-joyous matchmaker added, Ladies and gentlemen, who will cover my shift for a day? I've had my fill of this wretched job. My meticulously woven threads have been utterly tangled. Now, even among couples, there are mistresses and paramours aplenty. The gentle father figure, Lei Gong, lamented, Enough of this chatter. Who can rival the plight of me and Mother Electric? We must care for the child while also maintaining our jobs. It's a Herculean task. I found the conversation utterly captivating. It was indeed amusing. With the workday driving me to madness, I sought to vent here. I glanced ahead, and the traffic remained still, while the cacophony of horns erupted around me, each louder than the last. Checking the time, it was 8:52. There was no way I could arrive at the office by 9 o'clock and clock in seamlessly. I felt a flicker of anger, albeit fleeting. I raised my hand and typed in the chat, which deity might be so kind as to let the company explode. This dreadful job, let anyone who wishes to work do so. Before long, the gentle father, Lei Gong, mentioned me. The company location is favorable and the profession aligns. You could earn some extra cash. I dismissed it as mere jest. He sent another message, Today's offer is limited. Only 10 incense offerings are required. Don't miss out. I continued typing, there won't be any casualties or anything, right? Lei Gong reassured me, rest assured, after-sales service is guaranteed. Staring at the unmoving traffic ahead, I replied, Xingyun Street, Xingyun Building. I resumed mindlessly scrolling through my phone, not thinking much of it. Suddenly, a news alert popped up, Xingyun Building struck by lightning. Fortunately, there were no casualties. The building is currently being assessed. The only damage is to the clock-in machine. I was taken aback. In the next moment, wisps of golden light emerged from my phone, coalescing into a figure before me, extending a hand. Your residence is at Tangwa Community, 1216, right? I will await you at your home. Remember to bring the incense offerings, as we are in a bit of a rush. Children still require milk powder. I pinched my face, feeling the sting. Could this truly be happening? 2. My motivation for work dissipated entirely. The company had exploded. What did it matter if I went to work? The company chat sent out an announcement. Today is a day off. The clock-in machine is malfunctioning. For those who did not come to work, do not think you escaped unscathed. Tomorrow's work hours have been changed to 8 a.m. Were they referring to me? I parked my vehicle at the roadside and pulled out my phone to inquire with my colleagues. Sister Chen, what on earth is happening? Did our company truly explode? Sister Chen replied swiftly, it's true. A flash of golden light came through. Isn't it miraculous? Everything else remains intact. Yet our clock-in machine is irreparably damaged and cannot connect to the network. Our boss, with his beer belly, was scratching his head. Staring at the smoking machine, it was quite the sight. That wicked capitalist still wants us to work. He reluctantly granted a day off only because the property management insisted on inspecting safety hazards. The world is truly surreal. What I witnessed was undeniably real. If Lei Gong and Mother Electric were genuine, could it be that the deities in the group were real too? Oh heavens, you have finally shown me favor. I hastened to the largest incense shop, purchasing a substantial quantity of incense and joss paper. The shopkeeper stared, bewildered. Miss, are you hosting a funeral at home with such extravagance? I responded with a mysterious smile. Oh no, I'm about to embark on a stroke of good fortune. 3. Upon returning home, I parked my electric scooter and rushed inside. As I opened the door, a golden light burst forth, revealing 2 ethereal figures standing there. One male and one female, both radiating a golden glow and dressed casually. Hurry, the child is waiting for milk. It seemed to be Lei Gong speaking. But the woman beside him elbowed him, saying, don't be so hasty. A deity must keep something in reserve. Otherwise, how can we continue our business? She smiled, though I noticed the dark circles under her eyes. It dawned on me, and I began to produce the incense I had brought. I retrieved the incense burner and lit it, placing it within. The fragrant smoke spiraled upward, and the two deities relaxed, savoring the offerings. I fetched a stool and positioned it in front of them. Deities, please take a seat. Thank you, they replied as they settled down, eyes closed, absorbing the incense. I headed to the kitchen to prepare dinner for the evening. After a flurry of clattering, I presented the freshly made dishes on the table. Turning back to check on the incense, I noticed it had burned out. The 2 deities straightened their attire and rose. Farewell, Mother Electric, they said, her eyes, though still shadowed, appeared significantly brighter, as did Lei Gong, whose previously weary gaze now sparkled with vitality. Mortal, we must take our leave. The remaining incense must be lit each evening, and we shall certainly receive it. I smiled and nodded in gratitude. Suddenly, I called out to Mother Electric, would you like the sleep aid I bought for my sister's child? Absolutely. 4. Mother Electric's eyes sparkled with excitement as she gazed at the brand new sleep aid I retrieved from the cupboard. Observing her, I realized she must have been sleep-deprived from caring for the child for days, resembling my sister in her exhaustion. Mortal, in the future, should you have any needs, simply call upon us in the group. Discounts will be provided. The 2 deities departed, content. The golden light gradually faded with their exit, leaving me alone in the room. Staring at the extinguished incense, I regained my composure, unable to conceal my exhilaration. Those deities in the group were indeed real, and I was the only mortal among them. 5. Even if the god of wealth were to rain down riches upon me today, I still had to go to work, as I had yet to fulfill my 15 years of social insurance contributions. Moreover, I was required to arrive an hour early today. The streets were surprisingly uncongested. Of course, it was Saturday, a painful reality for someone like me who only has 1 day off a week. I set off early and with fewer vehicles on the road. I successfully clocked in at 7:40 a.m. The receptionist in the lobby wore a smile that seemed on the verge of becoming fixed. Seizing the opportunity when no one was around, she let her facade slip. And I couldn't shake the feeling that she resembled the weary god of wealth from the group. The god of wealth had mentioned working 996. Could she be the one? In my shock, I continued to watch her closely. Pulling out my phone as new messages appeared in the group, the god of wealth lamented, "This is so frustrating. My face is about to split from smiling." The god of wealth continued, "Must I stand at the entrance to attract wealth?" The god of wealth added, "How delightful it would be to sip a warm, lightly sweetened red bean milk tea at work." Glancing at my phone, I noted the time was 7:45. There was still time. I dashed out of the building and hurried to the nearby tea shop to buy a cup of milk tea. "Here you go. A red bean milk tea with less sugar, just for you." The young lady's face radiated with joy, and the air of fatigue had dissipated considerably. "Thank you, darling." I hurriedly dashed towards the elevator, my phone buzzing incessantly with messages in the group chat. The tireless god of wealth exclaimed, "Ah, today's dose of luck has arrived." He continued, "A beautiful young lady ordered my favorite milk tea just when I was at my most weary during work. I've decided to reward her with a little fortune." He added, "But why does she seem so strangely familiar?" Meanwhile, the most enchanting flower goddess pleaded, "Is there anyone who can bring me some water? I'm parched." She lamented further, "Must they shout so incessantly? The man of the moment they rave about isn't all that impressive compared to the kitchen god. Oh, how thirsty I am." She cried out, "I'm at the central square, pleading for a kind fairy to bring me a bottle of water." Upon reading these messages, I could hardly contain my excitement. The flower goddess? Our household's vinegar was running low, and conveniently, it was available for purchase at the central square. Yes, I shall go after work. After a day of lurking at my workstation like a dog, I finally endured until quitting time. Yet the promised little fortune from the god of wealth had not yet arrived. Just 5 minutes before the end of the workday, my boss, with his beer belly protruding, rapped on the table and cleared his throat. "Shen Bao, please stay a moment." Countless expletives raced through my mind. In his office, I stood before him as he gazed at me earnestly. "Xiao Shen," he began, "the proposal you submitted last month has been approved by the client. Consequently, the bonus has arrived, an impressive 50,000. Moreover, the client was quite satisfied and has gifted you a small present." He retrieved a gift box from his drawer, revealing a newly released bag. My heavens! This was the little fortune the god of wealth spoke of. My unwavering and fervent love for him would only deepen. After work, I must bring her some milk tea. With a beaming smile, I exited the company, clutching the milk tea, and there she was, indeed still present. "My lady for you." I placed the milk tea down and dashed away with glee. Upon opening the group chat, the god of wealth showered her with compliments. The air outside was brisk, and I nearly lost myself in my elation. The flower goddess at the central square. After all, I still had a favor to ask of her. I rushed to the central square, which was packed to the brim. A cacophony of screams erupted, all from starstruck fans. With so many people, how could I possibly find the flower goddess? My phone chimed again. The most beautiful flower goddess lamented, "This fairy is on the verge of withering away." Being a fan is so challenging. I've been vying for the prime spot since 1 o'clock this afternoon, and now, 7 hours later. She continued, "Can't that person on stage at least smile?" "If they smiled, my mission would be accomplished," grumbled the unhappy matchmaker. "Let us switch places. At least you get to enjoy the music. I'm stuck listening to harsh words all day. I know my words want to help, but I still have to advise couples to reconcile. It's truly arduous." A fan? That is easily resolved. I painstakingly navigated through the throngs to reach the front, finally spotting the dedicated fans. Each was equipped for the occasion, and it was easy to identify them. After all, other fans wore smiles reminiscent of a doting aunt. However, the one in the center was all frost and ice, emanating a palpable air of fatigue. Surely, she was the one. I nudged a sister beside me. "Why does the center fan look so aloof?" She responded warmly, "You're new to this, aren't you?" I nodded. She continued, "You don't understand. Flower Jia is the most renowned fan. She has been supporting her idol since his debut and was the first to capture a photo of him smiling. Thus, her status is not to be underestimated. Just look at her, so serious while taking pictures. The absurdity of their blindness to the chill in the air, equating it to diligence in photography, was amusing. Now that I had located her, it was time to act. I bent down and discreetly approached the group of fans, causing a stir. "Who are you? Don't interrupt our photo session. Don't block my shot. Are you a spy from the rival fanbase?" At that moment, all eyes turned to me. I awkwardly smiled. "Please don't look at me. Focus on your idol. I'm merely here for one purpose." Under the pressure of their gazes, I quickly produced the water I had concealed in my pocket and extended it towards the flower goddess. "Flower Jia, have some water. You've been waiting all day. You must be thirsty." The flower goddess maintained her distant demeanor as she accepted the water and said, "Thank you." Turning to face the multitude of scrutinizing fans, I felt a wave of trepidation. Had I not acted decisively, I feared I would have been devoured whole. The stir below had caught the attention of those on stage. The music ceased, and the performer cleared his throat, a smile gracing his lips. How about sending a bottle of water my way too? I was taken aback. Was he addressing me? The flower goddess pulled me behind her, and a flurry of applause erupted. The other fans joined in. Sunbao finally smiled. Oh, it has been such a struggle. I've been squatting here for hours, and it was all worth it. I yearned to escape this chaotic scene. Yet I was abruptly halted by a staff member wearing an earpiece. You, give me the other bottle of water in your possession. Also, let me inform you that you are exceptionally fortunate today. Jiang Sun has personally acknowledged you. You are the lucky star for today. After the concert, do not leave. You will have the opportunity to take a picture with Jiang Sun. I handed over the concealed water bottle, still grappling with the reality of being invited to take a picture. But I'm not even a fan. Beside me, the flower goddess shed her icy demeanor, her face alight with a smile as she winked at me. I opened my phone and a flurry of messages flooded in. The most beautiful flower goddess proclaimed, "Ah, my wish has been granted. The kind-hearted young lady brought me water." She continued, "I feel revitalized after drinking the water. Moreover, my mission has been accomplished. This very young lady, tireless god of wealth, please bestow your blessings upon her." Image. JPG. The flower goddess is indeed loyal. The gentle and nurturing thunder god chimed in. This is the person who previously placed an order for me in the group. The tireless god of wealth exclaimed, "Heavens! We encountered the same person. Do you remember the young lady who promised to bring me milk tea? It's her." Realizing I could not escape this fate, I decided to reveal my identity in the group. That hapless individual is indeed me. Good evening to all the celestial beings. The group fell silent for a moment, while the flower goddess regarded me with an inscrutable expression. I began to panic. In the next instant, the tireless god of wealth declared, "So this is the bliss of having one's wish fulfilled. I shall shower you with gold coins." The most beautiful flower goddess added, "So you truly heard my ramblings in the group and brought me water. I'm so touched. I too shall bestow upon you a stroke of good fortune." I slowly typed, "To all the celestial beings in the group, should you ever require assistance, do not hesitate to call upon me. I would be honored to be your most devoted fan." Dedicating myself entirely, the tireless god of wealth responded, "Marvelous. In the future, if there are matters difficult to communicate or inconvenient to address in person, we will seek you out." I replied with a virtual bow. I cautiously lifted my gaze to the flower goddess in the center, her face adorned with a smile, leaving me entranced. The fans nearby whispered excitedly, "Oh my, I truly came at the right time." I can see both Flower Jia and Sunbao smiling at the same time. How fortunate. I cannot wait to set Flower Jia's pictures as my wallpaper. Indeed, it was utterly exhilarating. I gazed at Jiang Sun on stage, passionately singing. Indeed, he was a strikingly handsome lad with a strong visage, and his appearance was quite commendable. Upon closer inspection, his singing was equally impressive. Once the concert concluded, I was ushered backstage, where Jiang Sun was in the midst of removing his makeup, instructing me to wait outside. The waiting room was adorned with posters of him, and the more I looked, the more a sense of familiarity washed over me. Jiang Sun, wasn't that the name of a classmate from my high school? Perhaps it was merely a coincidence of names. If it truly was him, I would not let this opportunity slip by. Before I could ponder further, Jiang Sun emerged from the dressing room, now devoid of heavy eye makeup, dressed in a school uniform. The figure before me began to overlap with my memories of that youthful boy, though he had shed his naivete and matured considerably. My curiosity was confirmed. I clenched my fists and dashed towards him, extending my hand. "Return the money." Jiang Sun remained silent, his gaze fixed on me, while his bewildered manager stood protectively in front of him. "Miss, please do not create a scene. The water was provided by you. So if anyone is to be at fault, it should be us." Undeterred, I tilted my head, bypassing the manager to lock eyes with Jiang Sun, pursing my lips as I reiterated, "Jiang Sun, return the money." It was a stormy afternoon at Xingyun High School. I need not elaborate further. The manager was utterly perplexed. Yet Jiang Sun suddenly chuckled softly. He pulled his manager aside and said, "I can return the money, but you must agree to be my personal assistant." The manager, still bewildered, interjected, "Wait, do you truly owe her money? How much? If it's a small amount, I can cover it." I raised my hand to indicate one. The manager's eyes widened. 1,000? I shook my head. 10,000? I continued to shake my head. The manager sighed. Then Jiang-sun, it's best you handle this yourself. But how much is it really? 100 yuan, Jiang-sun stated, leaving the manager in a state of shock. He indeed remembered. After all, he had pitifully borrowed money from me back then, assuring me that he, Jiang-sun, would repay it. Yet, the very next day, he transferred schools, effectively absconding with that 100 yuan. It had been 6 years since then, and I never imagined he would become a star. Well, that simplifies matters, I thought. However, what was that he just said about me becoming his assistant? So, I was to repay my own debt while acquiring a job in the process? No need for you to resign. Just come in after your evening shift. The compensation will be sufficient, serving as the interest for the money I owe you. In the group chat, I saw a message from Huashen. I am the most beautiful Huashen. Mortal, lend me a hand. Jiang-sun needs a personal assistant. If you can make him smile, self-nominate for the position and snap some candid shots of his daily life. Rest assured, I will ensure the god of wealth showers you with blessings. The god of wealth? Then I had to comply. I looked towards Jiang-sun and couldn't help but acknowledge that even though he was no longer that innocent boy, he still looked splendid in his school uniform. With newfound resolve, I agreed. Chen-ge, go fetch some paper. Let us draft a contract. As for that 100 yuan, I shall repay it at 10 yuan per month. Given the years that have passed, let us make it 15. How generous of me. I returned home clutching the contract. First, I lit incense for the deities, then busied myself with other matters. My phone chimed with a notification. Xingyun Bank, your savings account ending in XXXX received a transfer of 10,015 yuan on March 3rd at 1923. Current balance XXXX. A message from Jiang-sun followed. Shen Yibao, your salary for this month has been sent, including the repayment. Tomorrow evening, I have a recording at the television station. Please wait for me backstage. I replied, all right, I will be there on time. I simply could not comprehend why he insisted on having me as his personal assistant. Yet, for the sake of the salary and the request from Huashen, it would be foolish to turn down an opportunity for financial gain. At that moment, the group chat was flooded with messages. The god of childbirth, rare to appear, sent me a message. Yibao, I need your assistance. The matter conveyed by the god of childbirth was related to Sister Chen. What a coincidence indeed. I encountered Sister Chen daily at work. The god of childbirth mentioned that Sister Chen had recently been burning incense for her, praying for a child. Sister Chen had been a long-standing employee at the company. Since my entry, she had been there. Initially, she postponed having children for the sake of her career. But now at 32, she yearned for a child yet was unable to conceive. I was well aware of her struggles. She had undergone numerous medical examinations and endured great hardship, yet her desires remained unfulfilled. Both her health and her husband's were sound. Yet they could not retain a child. Just last week, she had ascended the mountain to pray fervently for a child. I inquired of the god of childbirth. Why is it that Sister Chen, despite being healthy, cannot carry a child? The god of childbirth replied, their fates do not align, in modern terms. One might say their genes are incompatible. They can conceive with others, yet are unable with each other. Alas, what a pity. Thus, Yibao, having received countless offerings from them, I must lend a hand. Kindly hint to them that if they persist in wanting a child, they should reach out to me again. If they abandon the notion yet still desire to nurture a child, I am aware of many places where children can be found to assist. Sister Chen's longing for a child was palpable. How painful it would be for her to learn that she could not have her own. Yet, inevitably, she would come to know. On a serene morning, I purchased a cup of milk tea, and as I passed the reception desk, I offered the drink to the god of wealth, who was laboring tirelessly. The god of wealth exclaimed, today is yet another vibrant day. The god of wealth will surely bless every diligent soul. Upon returning to my workstation, I noticed Sister Chen had arrived early. However, she appeared somewhat fatigued. Sister Chen, did you not sleep well last night? She wore a bright smile. Yibao, come here. I have something to tell you. I leaned in closer. I'm pregnant. Just found out yesterday. But let us not say too much yet. The first 3 months are precarious. Yet I could not share in her joy. Had it not been for last night's incident, I would have been elated for her. But after what transpired, I feared she might just be setting herself up for another disappointment. I could not bear to dampen her spirits at this moment of elation. She began to pack her belongings, preparing to take leave and nurture her pregnancy. Yibao, this time, I will protect this child well. I have waited 3 years for this. I grasped her hand and whispered, but Sister Chin, if you take leave, those beneath you will be watching like hawks. You might find your job at risk upon your return. However, Sister Chin showed no hesitation, declaring, this time, I choose the child over work. But what if you cannot keep this child either? I blurted out, my words cutting deep. Sister Chin erupted in anger, Shin Bao, you need not worry. My child will be just fine. Sister Chin took her leave, her countenance darkened. As she exited the company, she didn't spare me a glance. I understood her anger. I would feel the same in her position. Yet I wished to spare her the greater disappointment. My phone buzzed with a message, Jiang Sun. 12th floor makeup room at the television station. Come quickly and bring a cup of coffee. Sighing, I set aside my worries about Sister Chen and focused on serving my benefactor for the evening. I completed my tasks and, after work, hurried to the television station with a cup of coffee in hand. Upon my arrival, Jiang Sun was in the midst of his makeup session. He raised an eyebrow and glanced my way. You're here? The coffee? I acknowledged him and handed over the cup. He frowned slightly but took a sip. The makeup artist continued her work, yet I found him to be more captivating without the cosmetics. I couldn't shake the feeling that the makeup obscured his inherent beauty. Were you mesmerized? He spoke softly, and I shook my head, promptly handing him his clothes and shoes. It was my first experience as a servant, and I found myself somewhat flustered. Jiang Xian, however, was rather forgiving. After much effort, I managed to escort him into the studio, where a man on the side pulled me aside. In a hushed tone, he exclaimed, "Oh, sister, are you Jiang Xian's new personal assistant?" I nodded. I had never seen Jiang Xian so obedient. Sister, what kind of magic do you possess? The man before me was Sun Ge, Jiang Xian's former assistant. My wife is about to give birth. I must return to care for her, and for now, Jiang Xian is in your hands. I sincerely thanked him, and he left with a relaxed expression. I waited outside the studio, ready for any call. Earning this money was truly a challenge. Yet, it seemed Jiang Xian's money was not easily obtained either. Inside the studio, he furrowed his brow, speaking eloquently. Jiang Xian appeared entirely different from the one who had once beseeched me for a loan in the rain. Was he perhaps seeking revenge on me? Once the recording concluded, his manager, Chen Ge, immediately signaled to me, Xiaoshen, during this period, Jiang Xian will be entrusted to you. Sun has briefed you on all matters, right? I nodded. Jiang Xian began to remove his makeup, while I quietly waited nearby, eager for him to finish so I could take him home, marking the conclusion of my day's work. He was remarkably calm and didn't voice any demands. This money seemed relatively easy to earn. While driving him home in the back seat of the van, my phone erupted with notifications. It was a group message. I opened it, and the screen was flooded with alerts. Sending you a child to fulfill your dreams, mother of child, Ibao. Hurry! Chinlu's baby is gone. You must check on her. The weary Mengpa, she has already reported to me. It's a beautiful girl, such a pity. The overworked Kaishin, don't worry. If the child is gone, wealth will follow. A shiver ran down my spine, and I inquired in the group, mother of child, how is Chen Jia doing now? Sending you a child to fulfill your dreams, mother of child, I fear she is not well. The rather unhappy Lao, wait. Is the Chen Lier speaking of married to Gaoshan-kun? That is the one. I responded, Yulao, yes, what is the matter? The rather unhappy Yulao, Chen Lu's husband's red thread has entwined with someone else's. Sending you a child to fulfill your dreams, mother of child, wait. Gaoshan-kun already has a child? I hurriedly delivered Jiang Xian to his home. Call me if you need anything. See you tomorrow. I really do have matters to attend to, even if it means a deduction from my salary tonight. Jiang Xian scrutinized me for a moment, then replied, go ahead. Don't worry, I won T-Doc your pay. I felt immensely grateful. Just one request, I want to have a warm egg tart tomorrow. Even if I have to make it myself. Egg tarts? That's my specialty, I agreed before swiftly departing. The mother of child informed me that at that moment, Chin Jia was in the city hospital, all alone. I rushed to the ward, where I found Chin Jia with a pallid complexion. Upon seeing me, she opened her eyes, filled with guilt, and said, Ibao, this morning was my fault, I shouldn't have doubted you. I was utterly wrong. It seemed she had learned the truth. After experiencing some bleeding in the afternoon, she had come to the hospital, only to unexpectedly find her husband accompanying his mistress in childbirth. The irony was that the in-laws, whom I had treated with utmost sincerity, were also deceiving her. They were truly a harmonious family. Look, my child is gone. And he is here at the hospital with someone else. It's not about whether I care about having a child. It turns out he has already fathered children with another. Knowing our genetic incompatibility, they still chose to let me suffer so much. I held Chinjia's hand tightly. She had just miscarried and needed the comfort of family. How ironic that Chinjia, who had married far from home, had no relatives nearby. The only person she trusted was her husband's family, yet they could no longer maintain the facade. Even her in-laws had gone to the mistress's side. The Gao family had descendants now. I consoled Chinjia. Do you think this child has saved you? She must have bled deliberately to bring you here to witness this scene, don't you think? The baby must have cared deeply for her mother, so, Chinjia. You should understand now. Chinjia's husband, Gao Shankun, had always known their genetic incompatibility. Yet he concealed it from her while allowing her to endure the pain of injections and simultaneously fathering a child with another woman. Did he wish to have it both ways? That was impossible. Chinjia had always treated me well. With no family by her side, I stayed at the hospital with her all night. The next day, just before I went to work, her husband finally showed his face. Although he appeared sorrowful, the joy in his eyes was unmistakable. After all, he had welcomed a son the day before and was undoubtedly feeling triumphant. I trusted that Chinjia would make her own decisions. At the company, I kept a close eye on the messages in the group. I had something to request from the deities in the group. Mingpa, I need your assistance. Dreams come true, Mingpa. Child, go ahead, tell me what you need. After work, I stopped by a bakery to buy freshly baked egg tarts and hurried to the location designated by Jiang Xian. Let me have a taste. Today, Jiang Xian wasn't engaged in any activities, so I went to his home. He was wearing a simple t-shirt and I must say, his physique was quite admirable. That white t-shirt made him appear as if he were a high-end model. He took the box from me, and upon seeing the packaging, he frowned. Without even tasting it, he insisted, make it again. Jiang Xian's home was in a villa area, far from any bakeries. The round trip would take an hour. I needed to visit Chinjia at the hospital later. I quickly thought of the most convenient solution. Do you have eggs and milk at home? He nodded. Wait for me for half an hour. I'll borrow your kitchen. I could make them right there. Once the egg tarts were in the oven, I pulled out my phone and Jiang Xian's former assistant sent me a message. Ibao, is Jiang Xian hard to please? I replied, not really. I find him quite average. Good heavens, how refreshing. This was the second time I had seen him so agreeable. I was curious about the first time. I had never met the previous girl. I had only seen a photo of her in his wallet, and he wouldn't even let me touch it. Just as I was about to continue my gossip, a message popped up in the group. I am the most beautiful flower goddess, Ibao. How is it going? Did you manage to snap any super handsome photos? Almost forgot. I glanced outside the kitchen. He was sitting on the sofa, engrossed in his phone. I took out the camera prepared by the flower goddess, found the right angle, and prepared to take a candid shot. His handsome face was magnified, and a smile tugged at his lips. What is this? Are you transitioning to paparazzi? I grinned. Just wanted to snap a few pictures to earn some pocket money in the fan group. He stepped back a few paces, adjusting his collar. I hurriedly attempted to put away the camera. Hold still, I'll give you 10 seconds. That angle was perfect. I quickly powered on the camera and snapped away. Mission accomplished. I stowed the camera away, and he pointed to the oven in the kitchen. Is it ready? Yes. It's ready. I plated the egg tarts and placed them before him. He took a bite, his lips curving into a smile. This is the taste. Phew. As long as he was satisfied, he wasn't that difficult to please after all. The slap in the face came swiftly. Just before leaving, he leaned against the entryway and suddenly spoke. Shenibao, come back here tomorrow. I want mango milfeng. Extra pay. Please, I'm a personal assistant, not a chef. However, considering the monetary incentive, I readily replied, all right. I took a taxi to the hospital, where I found two elderly individuals by Chinjia's bedside. A bouquet of fresh flowers adorned the head of the bed. The elderly were sitting nearby, peeling apples. Upon my arrival, Chinjia beckoned me. Ibao, these are my parents, who rushed here overnight from our hometown. As she spoke, tears welled in her eyes. Her parents expressed their gratitude for the care I had provided over the past few days, leaving us to converse privately. In my presence, Chinjia appeared utterly relieved. She revealed that she had resolved matters and intended to divorce Gao Shanchuan. Acknowledging the difficulty of ensuring he left with nothing, she proposed a division of their joint assets, allocating 70% to herself and 30% to him. The house would be registered in her name, which she would not relinquish. Despite Gao Shanchuan's objections, Chen Jia asserted that if he did not acquiesce, she would pursue charges against him for bigamy. Sensing his disadvantage, Gao Shanchuan summoned others to coerce her into signing an inequitable divorce agreement. Fortunately, Chen Jia's parents arrived just in time. Yibao, I regret not heeding my parents' advice against marrying far away, she lamented, her parents' graying hair shielding her as I longed to weep loudly. I gently patted her hand, assuring her that there were still many days ahead. Even if she desired children, she could surely have them with someone else. With the malignant tumor excised from her life, brighter days lay ahead. I raised my hand to type in the group chat, thanks to Dream Grandmother. May dreams come true. Previously, I had asked Dream Grandmother to send 2 dreams. One involved Gao Shanchuan, who found himself trapped in a swamp, sinking deeper amidst the lost children he had caused to suffer. Upon waking, he agreed to divorce, as Chen Jia desired. The other dream was for Chen Jia's parents, who, after dreaming, felt a pang of worry for their daughter and rushed here overnight. The love of parents is always profoundly impactful. I sent a photo to the flower goddess, who expressed her satisfaction. Yibao, your photo is incredible. How did that rascal Jiang Xian cooperate with you for the shoot? I replied, Fairy, may I boldly inquire if you're a fan? I finally voiced my curiosity. Initially, I recalled the flower goddess speaking disdainfully of Jiang Xian. She had once remarked that he was not as handsome as the kitchen god. Thus, I found it perplexing that she would become a fan. The flower goddess responded, Yibao, you truly are observant. To be honest, I was genuinely moved by his brother, Jiang Li, who showered me with abundant offerings. She added, moreover, the more love from fans, the more floral essence I receive. That was the crux of the matter. However, Jiang Li? I remembered that Chen Ge had warned me to be cautious. Never mention his brother in front of Jiang Xian. Jiang Li, the president of the Jiang Group, was also the boss of the entertainment company Jiang Xian belonged to. There must be some undisclosed reason behind this situation. Lost in thought, I received a message from Jiang Xian on WeChat. I'm working late today. Remember to prepare for making the milfud cake. I replied with a respectful nod of acknowledgement in my mind. By some twist of fate, I opened Chen Ge's WeChat window. Chen Ge, does Jiang Xian love sweets? The reply came swiftly. No, he detests sweets. I inquired, so, didn't he ask you to make him something yourself? I received the response, yes, why? Chen Ge replied, you're in trouble. He has his eyes on you. No wonder he has been urging me to accompany his wife. Chen Ge concluded with, Shen Yibao, it's settled. Jiang Xian possessed a remarkable singing talent. His voice bore a certain enchantment that ensnared the listener. Upon my arrival at his residence, I found him in the recording studio, eyes closed, intently humming a melody, a stark contrast to his usual aloof demeanor. If I likened him to a frigid feline, today he resembled a docile pup, focused and earnest. I quietly slipped into the kitchen, only to discover that the ingredients were already neatly arranged on the table, making my task effortless. While preparing the cake batter, Jiang Xian descended from the second floor, reverting to his usual cool demeanor. Have you done your homework? He inquired. Success is the only option. My forte lay in creating desserts. In school, I often brought sweets to share, and everyone praised my creations. Thus, I felt confident. I completed the millefeuille swiftly, presenting it before Jiang Xian. He crossed his arms, raised an eyebrow, and began to taste it with a fork. Not bad, he remarked, easing my apprehension. I then set about preparing his clothing and equipment for the next day's schedule. While organizing, I noticed a small box in the corner, a gift from a fan. Out of professional responsibility, I decided to sort through it. Upon opening the box, I was startled by its contents, causing me to quickly straighten up and inadvertently knock over a nearby shelf. The ensuing cacophony reverberated throughout the room. Jiang Xian, savoring the dessert downstairs, looked up. What is going on, Shen Yibao? Are you trying to blow up my house? He set aside his fork and slowly ascended the stairs. Upon seeing the box, filled with ominous red clothing, crimson envelopes, and headless dolls, he showed no surprise, merely scoffing as he kicked the box over, letting its contents spill across the floor. Still these tricks, lacking in novelty. I refrained from asking further questions, quietly snapping a photo, then rearranging the items back into the box and pushing it aside, preparing to discard it. Jiang Xian leisurely descended, picking up his fork to continue eating his dessert. I completed my tasks, and he showed no signs of concern, though he had been consuming that cake for over half an hour without finishing. Eat less of the cake, I reminded him. Chingu said to avoid addiction. He glanced at me, his gaze piercing, causing me to feel uneasy under his stare. I averted my eyes. The room fell silent, and finally, he turned away, heading upstairs. You can clock out now. On my way home, I opened my phone and searched for Jiang Xian, only to discover an alarming number of anti-fans. Recalling his nonchalant demeanor earlier, I pondered that this was not the first encounter. Yet, it was quite frightening. If you don't love him, please do not harm him, I thought, feeling indignant at how fans could stoop so low. Jiang Xian, in the face of such provocations, remained stoically silent. The thought alone was suffocating. I opened my phone, reaching out to the eloquent literary star of the heavens, seeking assistance from the esteemed one. If one could trace the sender through their IP address online, it would be challenging to track a letter, as the shipping address was likely well concealed, making it arduous to uncover the individual. However, for mortals, it may be daunting, yet for deities, it is but a trivial matter. The literary star of the heavens replied, "Dear friend, I shall assist you." The deity could trace the origin of handwriting. Before long, the literary star of the heavens sent me a message. "Dear friend, I have the address for you, but you must ensure the offerings are delivered promptly, as I have some urgent purchases to make." "Thank you," I responded, gratitude to the deity. "The offerings will be presented tonight." As I examined the address provided by the literary star, a sense of familiarity washed over me. Wasn't he this Jiang Xian's residence? Was he sabotaging himself? I opened my phone and messaged Chingu. "Chingu, does Jiang Xian have masochistic tendencies?" Chingu replied swiftly, "No, Shinibao. Have you been foolishly misled by Jiang Xian?" I retorted, "Self-harm? He wouldn't even mistreat others." I found Chingu's insight quite astute. This was indeed intriguing. "Is there anyone else in Jiang Xian's household?" "It is a matter of living in his house." Chingu, outsider? Life? Do you and I count? But why do you ask this? After pondering for a moment, I decided to tell Chingu everything in detail. After a while, Chingu messaged me, "Shinibao, I just remembered someone. Jiang Xian has a live-in maid who stays with her daughter in the small courtyard behind the villa, but you probably haven't seen them. Their schedules have never overlapped with yours. Could it be her?" "All right then." Chingu turned serious and said, "Shinibao, don't laugh. But Jiang Xian isn't as strong as he appears on the surface. He is, in fact, quite wounded. Watching him gradually open up in front of you, I knew you would pull him out of the mire. You think too highly of me." After a simple discussion, I decided to speak directly to Jiang Xian. Therefore, that evening when I arrived at Jiang Xian's home, I got straight to the point. "There's a black fan of yours at home." After saying this, I only then noticed that he seemed to have just taken a shower, wrapped in a towel, his upper body exposed to the air. A sight that set my heart racing. Such a physique, truly flattering in clothing, yet enticingly toned without it. I wanted to leave, but my legs felt as if they were rooted to the spot, unable to move an inch. At that very moment, the camera hanging around my neck had somehow activated and flashed, paralyzing me with shock. I immediately turned around, only to hear a deep chuckle behind me. "A black fan? You're here to photograph my nakedness for profit? Shinibao, I never knew you could be so bold." My explanation stumbled out, dry and awkward. "Speak quickly." Behind me, a rustle of movement ensued. "Shinibao, go ahead. What black fan?" I turned back, surely he had dressed by now. Yet, the sight that met my eyes was still his bare torso. He stepped forward, cornering me against the wall, his breath warm, the atmosphere palpable. "You, put on some clothes." Eventually, Jiang Xian did dress. He looked at the letter I handed him and the information Chingu and I had uncovered. With a long sigh, he remarked, "How did you discover her disguise after all this time?" Disguise? He had always known? Lu Siki, ostensibly Lu Jia's daughter, was in fact my second major fan. I was aware that the first was the flower goddess, but I was uncertain about this second one. Jiang Xian pulled out his phone, found a photo, and presented it to me. "Is this her? And this black fan group?" I leaned in to take a look, and indeed it was her. I discreetly informed the flower goddess in the group, and she was as shocked as I was. While I addressed him as brother in public, I stabbed him in the back behind the scenes. The most beautiful flower goddess. I know Lusiki. She has always been competing with me. She is actually a lurking black fan. Yet she hasn't gained anything from it. What could her motive be? I too wanted to inquire, so I asked. Motive? Jiang Xian retorted. Naturally, it's wealth. But her pursuit of stardom requires tangible investments of both time and resources. I was puzzled. The flower goddess was also perplexed. Jiang Xian clarified, someone is providing her with money far exceeding her expenses. I echoed the sentiment. The most beautiful flower goddess, indeed. How did I not think of that? And who might that be? It is of course my full-blooded brother, the current CEO Jiang Li. I am aware that the affluent have their share of troubles. Yet what astonished me was that the entire circle was aware of it. Jiang Li, the president of Jiang Group, dotes on his younger brother, bestowing all the prime resources upon Jiang Xian. My eyes widened in disbelief. The most beautiful flower goddess. I must vindicate my brother. I sensed that your brother wouldn't act in such a manner. I pondered for a moment before voicing my thoughts. Jiang Xian's tone chilled considerably. Shen Yibao, not everyone enjoys the harmonious family life you do, with loving parents. Is this an investigation into me? The most beautiful flower goddess. Jiang Li is the most devoted brother I have ever seen. Instinctively, I recited the words from the group. Jiang Li is the most devoted brother I have ever seen. As soon as I finished, I quickly covered my mouth. But it was too late. Jiang Xian approached me, his gaze fixed intently on my phone. Who are you chatting with? In my panic, I powered off the device, which only solidified my suspicions. Shen Yibao, why do you speak so fervently in defense of my brother? What is your intention? Are you drawing near to me to get closer to him? What kind of reasoning is that? I haven't even seen what his brother looks like. Jiang Xian is truly cautious. He picked up my phone but couldn't glean anything from it. My celestial friends are indeed impressive, managing to remain incognito. Jiang Xian's doubts lingered. I dared not bring it up again, seeking another opportunity to question the flower goddess. Fortunately, Jiang Xian did not detain me. And after wrapping up my business at his place, I returned home. Upon opening my phone, I inquired in the group, Flower Goddess. May I ask why you said Jiang Li is the most devoted brother you have ever known? The most beautiful flower goddess. Allow me to clarify. I became his #1 fan at Jiang Li's behest. My task is to capture Jiang Xian's smiling face. Yet he rarely smiles. Jiang Li wishes for Jiang Xian to be happy. You have no idea. Every time I accidentally capture Jiang Xian's smile, Jiang Li gazes at the photo with affection, murmuring, my Xian has not smiled like this in ages. Every itinerary for Jiang Xian is meticulously considered by Jiang Li. His affection is profoundly evident. The flower goddess succinctly explained the situation to me. Yet, I remained puzzled. Why then does Jiang Xian harbor such animosity towards Jiang Li? The most beautiful flower goddess. A splendid question. It is due to their parents. Years ago, upon witnessing Jiang father's betrayal, Jiang mother committed suicide. It was then that Jiang Xian learned that his brother Jiang Li had always known of the third party's existence. He felt that Jiang Li had betrayed both him and their mother. The unhappy matchmaker. Even as an observer, I find it infuriating. The deity of childbirth. Count me in. Generally, according to narrative progression, there must be a reason behind it. The most beautiful flower goddess, indeed. Jiang Li has his reasons. And the reason is that when he first discovered the truth, he wished to inform their mother. But the mistress was an aunt with whom he and Jiang Xian had a good relationship, also the best friend of Jiang mother. She held compromising videos of Jiang father and Jiang mother and threatened Jiang Li that if he exposed the truth, the videos would be released. Jiang Li did not want his mother to be humiliated or have her reputation tarnished, so he kept silent, trying to find an opportunity to undermine the two. Yet, ultimately to no avail. The weary Mengpa, I'm furious. Quickly, send those two to me. No. At times living is more torturous than death. I have always detested the third parties that disrupt others' families, especially an older mistress. Now, with the celestial powers of my divine friends, I can certainly make use of them. I have a way to torment the two. I ask for the assistance of all the celestial beings. Each assisting deity shall receive 20 offerings. Jiang Xian, what do you have in mind? I rubbed my eyes. How did Jiang Xian end up in the group? I scrolled back. Realizing I had missed a system notification amidst the rapid scrolling, the overworked god of wealth has invited Jiang Xian to join the group chat. So, all our schemes had been laid bare before him. But how did he manage to enter the group? Jiang Xian, do you know who added me to the group? Understood. It must be the god of wealth. Well, it's all good. I didn't say anything detrimental about him. I am concerned with only one matter, so... Jiang Xian, have you resolved the discord with your brother? Jiang Xian replied, you first share your plan. I responded, firstly, the primary endeavor involves the matchmaker. Unraveling the entangled red thread connecting your father, mother, and the third brother, thereby dissolving their bonds. Furthermore, we must engage the dream matriarch to erase the video in the possession of the third brother, eliminating any lingering concerns. Lastly, we shall delve into the heart's turmoil, culminating in the reconciliation between you and your brother. The eloquent star of literature remarked, marvelous, your thoughts are exceptionally clear. The somewhat discontented matchmaker interjected, I shall assist where I can. The dream matriarch, known for her benevolence, affirmed, I am ever so eager to help. Jiang Xian declared, once this is accomplished, Shen Yibao, your salary shall double. Splendid. I exclaimed, then we must immediately sign a new contract to formalize the terms. Jiang Xian assured me, with the deities present, I shall not renege. So, what are you afraid of? I am not afraid. During the day, while working, I came across the news. Former Jiang Corporation President Jiang Yu publicly confessed to betraying his first wife, admitting to infidelity that led to her demise. Additionally, he revealed that the third brother is, in fact, a close confidant of his late wife. The current president of Jiang Corporation emphasized, all of it is true. The renowned artist Jiang Xian announced, I have received numerous objects from haters, which were covertly sent by Jiang Yu. The third brother attempted to prove his innocence, revealing a video that inadvertently confirmed his identity. The audience was incensed. Some expressed sympathy for Jiang Xian, while others condemned the third brother, creating quite a stir. The group chat buzzed with excitement. The weary Mingpa remarked, I am awaiting the two of them. The gentle father figure Lei Gong stated, I could hardly contain my desire to strike them down. The discontented matchmaker declared, I must clarify. The tangled red thread is not my doing, they intertwined it themselves. It merely illustrates their repulsive nature from the outset. After work that day, I arrived at Jiang Xian's residence. What I beheld was a towering man, nearly 6 feet tall, clutching Jiang Xian's hand, weeping profusely. Jiang Xian wore a look of disdain. Brother, I know you feel wronged. You have been crying for 3 hours. Your tears must be nearly exhausted. It was evident that his brother was deeply aggrieved. I found myself in a difficult position. Jiang Xian's keen eyes caught sight of me, as if he had found a savior. Ah, Shen Yibao, I must practice singing quickly. Come with me to the recording studio. Noticing his urgency, I understood he was anxious, but he should not rush. Jiang Li immediately composed himself, his gaze revealing a sense of determination. Jiang Xian introduced, Brother, this is my assistant. Jiang Li instantly transformed his demeanor, clearing his throat. Miss Shen, I entrust Jiang Xian to you. Please, Miss Shen, until we meet again. With that, he departed, leaving only Jiang Xian and me in a silent standoff. Have you eaten? I nodded. I have an itinerary tomorrow. I must retire early. Oh, then I shall leave work early? I will take a shower. In the meantime, please help me organize my shirts. Certainly. Jiang Xian entered the bathroom. After finishing my tasks, I picked up my phone where the group chat was abuzz. The discontented matchmaker remarked, Jiang Xian's affections remain unnoticed by Yibao. He is utterly smitten yet remains silent. Their red threads are nearly entwined into a single cord. It vexes me. The dream matriarch added, Indeed, their little ones are still queuing for their turn. It troubles me. I interjected. The most beautiful flower goddess directly stated, Jiang Xian possesses a treasured wallet beneath his pillow. You should see for yourself. Did they imply that Jiang Xian harbors feelings for me? Listening to the sound of water flowing from the bathroom, I boldly ventured into his bedroom. Under the pillow, I indeed discovered a wallet. Upon opening it, I found a familiar photograph nestled inside. My astonishment grew as I failed to notice the sound of running water had ceased. Jiang Xian emerged from the bathroom, his eyes wide with panic upon seeing me holding his wallet. Shen Yibao, don't look. He slipped on the wet floor. tumbling onto the bed with me. For some inexplicable reason, my heart raced. It was not until droplets from his damp hair landed on my lips that I regained my composure. He, too, was flustered, hastily sitting up, stammering, "This is... I found it. What a coincidence. This is the picture from my student ID. The embossed seal is still intact. But why is my student ID still at home while only the photograph is missing?" At that moment, Jiang Xian resembled a schoolboy caught in mischief, his words disjointed. I sighed in relief. "Jiang Xian, is it truly so difficult to admit your feelings for me?" Suddenly, he lifted his gaze, eyes sparkling with hope. "Are you?" I sighed. A flicker of disappointment crossed his face as he adjusted his bath towel, seemingly reminiscing. He began, "Do you recall the 100 yuan I borrowed from you?" I shook my head. "You must have been curious as to why I chose to borrow money from you specifically. I will never forget that day. It was pouring rain, my mother's death anniversary, and on that same day, I discovered my father's affair and realized my brother had known all along. In that moment, I felt utterly abandoned by the world, left alone with not even a penny to buy flowers for my mother. So, why did I seek you out?" Jiang Xian chuckled softly, a glimmer of light in his eyes, for he understood that Shen Yibao is a compassionate person. "The first time I met you was also on a rainy day. You held an umbrella, encouraging yourself amidst the downpour, and it made you seem foolish." I interjected. Jiang Xian paused, then smiled widely. "However, as time passed, I began to notice you and realized you are one of the warmest individuals. Gradually, I was drawn to you. After borrowing the money, I visited the cemetery to pay respects to my mother with her favorite magnolias. Subsequently, I traveled abroad, and now, fate has intertwined our paths once more. I am certain now." Jiang Xian straightened his posture, his eyes filled with starlight. "Shen Yibao, I like you." I was taken aback. Gazing at Jiang Xian before me, I felt a wave of nervousness that rendered me breathless. A gentle reminder echoed, "You can breathe." I gasped for air and swiftly fled the room, utterly mortified. On my way home, my phone buzzed incessantly with messages. The overworked god of wealth exclaimed, "Front row for the gossip." The most beautiful flower goddess chimed in, 1. The discontented matchmaker cautioned, "Remember to send me wedding candies. My earthly work location is at the divorce office of the Civil Affairs Bureau. So be sure to bring me some sweets when you pass by." The dream matriarch added, "Matchmaker, that seems inappropriate. Aren't they getting married? Wouldn't he visiting you bring bad luck?" I found myself increasingly confused. Marriage? Wedding candies? Scrolling further, I finally uncovered the instigator. Jiang Xian had declared, "Deities." I confessed my feelings. And thus, the chain of events unfolded. How had I never noticed his audacity before? The god of wealth who toils to the point of exhaustion. As the year draws to a close, I must stand firm, collect my dues, and ensure that my incense offerings flourish. The not-so-joyful matchmaker. As the year wanes, the number of divorces surges, and my tongue is nearly worn to shreds. I find myself utterly powerless to intervene. The goddess of fertility, who grants wishes for offspring, as the year ends, those yearning for pregnancy have begun their preparations. My duties are becoming increasingly demanding. It is indeed amusing to realize that even deities are not exempt from year-end tribulations. Upon returning home, my neighbor knocked on my door seeking my counsel. She lamented, "Yibao, why is my fate so cruel? Every time I date someone, they inevitably cheat on me. Am I a magnet for infidelity? I desperately wish to find a boyfriend who would remain faithful. At this rate, I have no desire for marriage or children. Perhaps I should visit a temple and pray." Instantly, I sprang from the sofa. "Dear deities, the not-so-joyful matchmaker has a case. My neighbor consistently encounters unfaithful men. The incense offerings are plentiful, and she merely seeks a devoted boyfriend. Can the matchmaker weave her red thread?" The not-so-joyful matchmaker replied, "Naturally. As the year concludes, let us strive to boost performance." Receiving this affirmative response, I turned to share my thoughts with my neighbor, only to find her staring in astonishment at the table in the living room. "Wait, Yibao, do you really have so many deities you worship now? I thought you were a staunch materialist." "Let me count. The god of wealth, thunder god, the goddess of fertility, the flower goddess, the matchmaker, the dream granny. The literary star? So many. I am truly enlightened." I immediately urged her to lower her voice and whispered a few words in her ear. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Really?" I nodded. "Then I shall return to offer my incense." Wait for me. After bidding farewell to my neighbor, a flurry of messages from Chengge flooded in. Yibao, you are something else. You actually managed to win over Jiang Xian? Oh my. How many young girls' dreams must have shattered? And Jiang Xian's wallet contains a picture of you? Jiang Xian actually shared this with someone? Don't misunderstand. It wasn't Jiang Xian who told me. As astute as I am, a love-struck person is always discernible. Fine. I replied, Chengge. I shall observe how things unfold for now. Jiang Xian seemed to have transformed entirely, preparing everything for me as if I were the employer and he the employee. Yibao, drink this juice. I squeezed it myself. Yibao, come here to gaze at the stars. Yibao, look, I made these egg tarts myself. Let me share a secret. In our second year of high school, when you made egg tarts for the entire class, I spent 300 yuan to buy one from your classmates. The taste has lingered in my memory for a long time. Thus, the instances were countless. Watching Jiang Xian bustling about, a warm current flowed through my heart. Jiang Xian remained oblivious that my first encounter with him was during the school anniversary. He spoke on stage, and that day the sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating his face as he played the guitar and sang. I felt as if he was glowing. My heart began to flutter from that very moment. During a rainy day when I borrowed money, I saw the glimmer of helplessness in his eyes, stirring my compassion. Later, when he went abroad, I thought our relationship would amount to nothing more than a nodding acquaintance. Little did I expect that fate would bring us together again. Jiang Xian was unaware that I had been the one to fall for him first. As he approached me with the egg tarts, I dashed toward him, causing him to hurriedly set down the tart in his hands, unable to catch me. I leapt into his embrace, wrapping my arms around his waist. Listening to our racing heartbeats, I rose onto my tiptoes and gently pressed my lips against his, which appeared so inviting. Jiang Xian, may I share a secret with you? Jiang Xian held me tightly in his arms, not waiting for my reply. He leaned down and kissed me. His kiss was assertive and overwhelming. And when he finally released me, he spoke in a low, husky voice. What secret? I stood on my toes, leaning closer to his ear. You are simply irresistible. The end of the tale. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again in the next story.